Hello, I'm back for another edition in my series about my first Flutter app. I've made some progress. As I insinuated in the last entry of this series, I mentioned that it was time for me to start working on the paywall, and I'm happy to say that I am back and I have some progress to show on the paywall. So I decided how I'm going to approach this. So there's a couple of ways in which the user will get presented with the paywall. The first of which is when they try to create more than one family. So if they try to hit the floating action button down here on the bottom right, they'll get presented with this wonderful paywall. It's kind of plain right now. I'm going to gussy it up with some graphics. But for now, it's just it's functional, okay? And it gets the point across. So the other way in which the user will hit the paywall is if they try to add more than 2 users. So the free version of the app will allow you to add 2 users. And if they try to do that, it won't let them. And also, the free version will allow users to add 5 ledger entries. And if you try to add more than 5, it will present you with the paywall. Okay, so the idea there is I don't want to restrict the app so much that people don't get an idea of what its functionality is. I want them to get a taste for what the app can do for them and get them hooked a little bit, and then they'll hit the paywall. The idea is that they'll hit the paywall after already having an idea of what the app can do for them. So that's that. The paywall itself, as far as like the actual code for the paywall, it's pretty simple. It's just a basic view. I'm calling it upsell.dart. It's just like other views in my app. It uses a lot of rows and columns, not much to delve into there. So for in-app purchases, I'm using this in-app purchase library, and I think it's actually by the core Flutter developers, and it works in both iOS and Android. And I've successfully integrated it into my app, and I have proof because when you hit the paywall, see the price here? That's actually coming from Google Play. So I managed to finally integrate Google Play. And integrating Google Play was somewhat of a challenge, for me anyway. The iOS side of things I've done a million times before, so that was no problem. But there was a bit of what you might consider the fog of war when implementing the Android Play side of things, or the Google Play side of things. I had to spend a lot of time fiddling with the Google Play console, or Google Play. A lot of the terms are different, like the way subscriptions work in Google Play is a little bit different, and the way they do releases is different. A lot of stuff is different. Google Play is a lot more overly engineered, in my opinion. The Apple side of things is more straightforward. I'm not going to go into detail about exactly how I set up the in-app purchases and stuff, because this isn't that kind of video, and I don't have the bandwidth to do stuff like that, but a couple of takeaways. One, you need to have an AVD, which is a term for Android virtual device. You need to have a virtual device that has the Google Play library installed, or the Google Play functionality installed. And for that, you need to bring up Android Studio, which I have open here, and you need to go into View Tool Windows Device Manager, which will bring up this little panel, and hit Create Device. And when you create your device, you want to make sure that it's one that has the Play Store installed, and it'll have this little icon there. And that's for testing in-app purchases on the emulator. And another takeaway, something that costed me a lot of time, because it wasn't documented anywhere, is that when testing in-app purchases on the emulator, you need to have a secondary Google account set up. You can't use your developer account for doing what they call license testing. So in the Play console, you whitelist a bunch of whatever email addresses you're going to be using for testing in-app purchases. And it can't be your developer account, apparently, which isn't mentioned anywhere. In fact, I found that the documentation for the Android side of things, or anything Google related, is very scattered. It's like they have several different teams working on the same stuff. It's a little weird, but I got it figured out. It's more or less underway. The next major chunk is receipt validation. I have experience doing the iOS side of the receipt validation thing, but I've never done receipt validation for Android, so that's going to be the next major challenge for me. And after that, it's pretty much going to be just a bunch of details and stuff. No more unknown unknowns, as Donald Rumsfeld would say. And this project will be coming close to finished. However, I've run into a new opportunity, so I might have to sideline this project yet again. I ran into an opportunity where there's this new company that creates. Anyway, I can't really go into details about it, but there's a opportunity for me to implement a new feature for one of my apps that's AI related. You know, we got the whole AI gold rush going on right now. I might want to do that before finishing this project. So basically, yeah, I might be sidelining this, so I might not be making a video about this in particular for a few weeks or so. I don't know. It's always up in the air, man. Things change on a daily basis. That's about all I got for this video. I did receive a comment that at least one person wants me to go into more detail on the code itself. Maybe it's just me, but the code for all this is pretty, I mean, it's not really that interesting. I created this purchasing singleton, and it has did purchase. It's just hard-coded to false for now. I got the product IDs in here. It returns the default product price, and I'm just now setting up the like the purchase state handling stuff, where it listens for the state of the purchase as it goes through and does what it needs to do there. Like I said, I still need to do receipt validation. That's next on my list if I don't get sidelined. That's about it. That's my update. See ya.